Hey there, wonderful folks. Have you ever crawled into bed hoping for a refreshing night's sleep, only to wake up feeling like you've been wrestling with your pillows all night? Or maybe you've noticed that those 8 hours you used to count on just aren't delivering the same pep in your step anymore. If that sounds familiar, you're not alone. And I'm so glad you're here today because we're going to talk about something that hits close to home for so many of us over 70. Why sleep sometimes feels like it's working against us. And more importantly, what we can do about it tonight. Sleep is supposed to be our body's best friend, right? It's like hitting the reset button, giving us energy, clarity, and a little extra sparkle for the day ahead. But as we get older, it can start to feel like sleep is playing hard to get. Instead of waking up ready to tackle a morning walk or enjoy a chat with friends, we might feel groggy, achy, or just plain off. And here's the thing, it's not just about getting older. There are little habits, sneaky bedtime mistakes that could be stealing the restful sleep you deserve. The good news? These are things we can fix. And I'm going to walk you through 4 big ones so you can start making changes as soon as you turn off this video. Today, we're diving into why sleep can sometimes feel like it's doing more harm than good after 70 and the 4 bedtime mistakes you'll want to fix tonight. We'll talk about practical, down-to-earth steps you can take. No fancy gadgets or complicated routines required. Just simple tweaks to help you wake up feeling like the best version of yourself. So grab a cozy spot, maybe a cup of tea, and let's get started with the first mistake that might be tripping you up. One of the biggest bedtime blunders I see, and I've been guilty of this myself, is treating bedtime like it's just another part of the day. You know how it goes, you're watching a gripping show, answering one last email, or maybe scrolling through photos of your grandkids on your phone, and suddenly it's way past when you meant to hit the hay. Or maybe you do get to bed on time, but you're still wired, thinking about tomorrow's to-do list or that conversation from earlier. Here's why this is such a problem. Your brain needs a heads up that it's time to wind down. Without that signal, it's like trying to slam on the brakes of a speeding car. It just doesn't stop smoothly. After 70, our bodies are a little more sensitive to these disruptions. It's not that we're fragile, far from it, but our sleep cycles aren't as forgiving as they were in our 30s or 40s. When you stay in go, go, go mode right up until your head hits the pillow, your brain doesn't have time to shift gears into rest mode. You might fall asleep okay, but the quality of that sleep, it's not doing you any favors. You could be missing out on the deep restorative stages that help your body repair and your mind stay sharp. So, what can you do tonight to fix this? Start creating a little bedtime ritual. Nothing fussy, just a signal to your body that it's time to ease into sleep. About an hour before bed, try dimming the lights in your home. Bright lights, especially from screens, trick your brain into thinking it's still daytime. Swap out that late-night TV or phone scrolling for something calming, like listening to soft music, reading a light book, or even chatting quietly with your partner or a friend. My friend Margaret swears by her evening crossword puzzle. Not the hard ones that stress her out, but the easy ones that feel like a gentle brain massage. It's her way of telling her mind, okay, we're slowing down now. Another great trick is to sip something warm and non-caffeinated, maybe a small cup of chamomile tea or warm milk. It's not just soothing, it's like a cozy hug for your insides that says, time to relax. And here's a little tip, set a loose bedtime, but don't stress if you're off by a few minutes. The goal is to make this feel natural, not like you're punching a clock. Tonight, try picking one of these, maybe dimming the lights or skipping the late night news, and see how it feels. It's a small step, but small steps can lead to big changes when it comes to sleep. Now let's move on to another bedtime mistake that's so common, it's practically a universal habit. Ignoring what your bedroom is actually doing to your sleep. I'm not talking about whether your bedspread matches your curtains, though I know some of us take pride in that. I'm talking about how your bedroom environment can either invite sleep or push it away. Think about this. Your bedroom should be like a cozy cave, cool, dark, and quiet. But for a lot of us, it's more like a command center with glowing clocks, a TV flickering, or maybe even a window letting in street lights or early morning sun. Why does this matter so much after 70? Well, as we age, our sleep becomes a bit more fragile. Little disruptions, like a room that's too warm or a light that's too bright, can keep us from sinking into the deep sleep we need to feel refreshed. I remember visiting my friend Tom, who's 74 and always complaining about waking up tired. I noticed his bedroom had this big, bright alarm clock right by his bed, glowing like a neon sign. He thought it was handy, but it was probably keeping his brain half awake all night. And don't get me started on his habit of leaving the TV on for background noise. It's like inviting a late-night talk show host to chatter in your ear while you're trying to rest. Here's how you can fix this one tonight. Take a quick look at your bedroom and make it sleep-friendly. First, check the temperature. Aim for something cool, around 65 degrees if you can. If it's too warm, your body struggles to relax because it's working to keep you cool. Crack a window or use a fan if you need to. Next, make it as dark as possible. If street lights or early sunrise sneak in, try some affordable blackout curtains or even a sleep mask. I know. Sleep masks can feel a bit silly at first, but my neighbor Susan says hers makes her feel like she's at a fancy spa every night. And if you've got a bright clock or charger glowing, cover it up or move it across the room. As for noise, if you live somewhere with traffic or chatty neighbors, a small fan or a white noise machine can work wonders. You don't need anything fancy, just something to drown out the distractions. Tonight, pick one thing to tweak, maybe cover that glowing clock or pull those curtains tight, and see if it helps you drift off more easily. It's amazing how these little changes can make your bedroom feel like a sleep sanctuary again. So here we are, still chatting about how to make your nights work for you, not against you. You've already got a couple of tricks up your sleeve, easing into bedtime with a calming ritual and turning your bedroom into a sleep-friendly haven. Now let's dive into another bedtime mistake that's so easy to fall into, especially when life feels busy or stressful. It's something a lot of us do without even thinking, and it's like putting a roadblock right in the way of a good night's sleep, bringing the day's worries to bed with you. I'll bet you've had one of those nights where you're lying there, staring at the ceiling, replaying a conversation from lunch or worrying about something coming up tomorrow. Maybe it's a doctor's appointment, a family matter, or even just wondering if you locked the back door. Your body's ready to rest, but your mind's still running a marathon. After 70, this habit can hit us harder because our brains don't bounce back from stress quite as quickly as they used to. It's not that we're losing our edge, far from it, but stress can linger, keeping us from slipping into the deep, healing sleep that leaves us feeling refreshed. Let me tell you about my friend Clara. She's 72, sharp as a tack, and loves her gardening club. But she used to lie awake for hours, worrying about everything from her tomato plants to her grandkids' school projects. She'd get so worked up that by morning, she felt like she'd barely closed her eyes. The problem wasn't just the worries themselves. It was that she was letting them follow her right into bed. It's like inviting a noisy guest to your quiet party. They just don't belong there. So how do you fix this tonight? The key is to give your mind a chance to unload before you even think about getting under the covers. One thing that works wonders is setting aside a little worry time earlier in the evening. Sounds funny, I know, but hear me out. About an hour or two before bed, grab a notebook or even a scrap of paper and jot down whatever's on your mind. It could be a to-do list for tomorrow, something that's been bugging you, or even a quick note to check the back door. Getting it out of your head and onto paper is like telling your brain, okay, we've got this handled, you can relax now. Clara started doing this, and she calls it her brain dump. She spends 5 minutes writing down her thoughts, nothing fancy, just bullet points like call Jenny or buy more potting soil. Then she tucks the paper away and promises herself she'll deal with it tomorrow. It's not about solving everything right then. It's about giving your mind permission to let go. If writing's not your thing, try talking it out. Maybe share your thoughts with a partner, a friend, or even just say them out loud to yourself. It's like clearing the clutter before you settle in for the night. Another trick to try tonight is a simple breathing exercise once you're in bed. If those worries start creeping back, take a slow, deep breath in through your nose for 4 seconds. Hold it for 4, then let it out through your mouth for 6. Do it a few times and picture your stress floating away like a balloon. I know it sounds a little woo-woo, but it's like hitting a reset button for your nervous system. My neighbor Bill swears by this. He says it's the only thing that stops him from worrying about his golf swing at 2 a.m. Try one of these tonight, maybe the notebook trick or the breathing, and see if it helps you drift off without that mental baggage. Now let's talk about another bedtime mistake that's sneaky because it feels harmless, even healthy. Eating or drinking the wrong things too close to bedtime. I'm not saying you're out there chugging soda or munching on potato chips at midnight, though no judgment if you are. But even choices that seem innocent, like a late night snack or a glass of wine, can throw your sleep out of whack in ways you might not expect. Here's why this matters more after 70. Our bodies don't process food and drink as quickly as they used to. That means what you eat or sip in the evening can stick around, messing with your digestion, your blood sugar, or even your brain's ability to settle down. Take my friend Dorothy. She's 75 and loves her evening bowl of ice cream. She thought it was a nice treat to end the day, but she started noticing she'd wake up feeling sluggish, sometimes with a little heartburn. Turns out that sugary snack was giving her body a job to do when it should have been resting. So what's the fix? Tonight, try giving your body a break by finishing your last meal or snack at least 2 to 3 hours before bed. That gives your stomach time to do its thing so it's not working overtime while you're trying to sleep. If you're hungry later, go for something light and easy to digest, like a small banana or a handful of almonds. These won't spike your blood sugar or sit heavy in your tummy, and steer clear of anything too spicy, greasy, or acidic. Sorry, no late night tacos or orange juice, as tempting as they might be. As for drinks, watch out for caffeine and alcohol, even in small amounts. That cup of decaf coffee or tea might still have enough caffeine to keep you wired. And while a glass of wine might make you drowsy at first, it can wake you up a few hours later. Stick to water or herbal tea in the evening. Chamomile or peppermint are great choices. Dorothy switched to a small glass of warm milk instead of ice cream, and she says it's like a lullaby for her stomach. Tonight, take a peek at your evening routine. Maybe skip that late snack or swap your drink for something gentler, and see how your body thanks you in the morning. All right, my friends, we're getting so close to unlocking the secret to better sleep, and I'm loving that you're sticking with me on this journey. We've already tackled some big bedtime mistakes: rushing into bed without winding down, letting your bedroom sabotage your rest, carrying worries under the covers, and eating or drinking things that keep your body up when it should be down for the count. Now let's dive into the final mistake that could be standing between you and the kind of sleep that leaves you feeling like you're ready to take on the world, or at least enjoy your morning coffee with a smile. This last one's a doozy because it's something a lot of us don't even think about: ignoring your body's natural sleep rhythm. You might be thinking, what rhythm? I just go to bed when I'm tired. But here's the thing. Your body has its own internal clock, like a quiet little conductor keeping time for when you should be awake and when you should be dreaming. After 70, that clock gets a bit pickier, and if you're not listening to it, you might be throwing your sleep out of tune. Let me paint a picture. My friend George, who's 71 and proud of his vegetable garden, used to have the worst sleep habits. One night he'd stay up past midnight watching old westerns. The next he'd crash at 9 p.m. because he was exhausted. And weekends? Forget it. He'd sleep in until noon if he felt like it. He thought he was just going with the flow, but his body was confused, and he'd wake up feeling like he'd been run over by a tractor. That's because our bodies thrive on consistency, especially as we get older. When you mix up your bedtime and wake-up time like a shuffled deck of cards, your internal clock doesn't know what to expect, and your sleep pays the price. Why does this matter so much now? Well, as we age, our sleep cycles become a little less flexible. It's not that we can't adapt, we're tougher than that, but irregular schedules can make it harder to fall asleep, stay asleep, or feel rested when you wake up. It's like trying to grow a garden without regular watering. Things just don't flourish the way they should. The good news is you can get that rhythm back, and it doesn't take a lot of effort to start tonight. Here's what you can do. Aim for a consistent bedtime and wake-up time, even on weekends. It doesn't have to be exact to the minute. Nobody's asking you to set a military schedule, but try to keep it within a half-hour window. For example, if you decide 10:30 p.m. is your bedtime, stick to it as best you can and pick a wake-up time, like 7 a.m., that gives you about 7 to 8 hours of sleep. That's usually the sweet spot for most of us over 70. Though some folks do fine with a little less or more. The key is to listen to what feels right for you, and then make it a habit. George started setting a loose schedule. Lights out around 10 p.m., up by 7:30 a.m., and he was amazed at how quickly his body caught on. He said it was like his brain finally knew when to shut off and when to get going. If you're someone who loves a late-night movie or a leisurely morning in bed, I hear you. Those can feel like little treats. But try shifting those treats to fit your rhythm, like watching a show earlier or enjoying a relaxed breakfast instead of sleeping in. Tonight, pick a bedtime that feels doable and give it a try. Maybe set a gentle alarm to remind you to start winding down, like a nudge from a friend saying, "Hey, let's get ready for rest." Another part of this is paying attention to when your body feels naturally sleepy. You know that moment when your eyes start to get heavy and you're maybe yawning a bit? That's your body waving a flag saying, now's the time. If you push past it, say to finish one more chapter or catch the end of a game, you might get a second win that keeps you up longer than you planned. Tonight, when you notice that sleepy feeling, honor it. Head to bed instead of fighting it. And you might be surprised at how much easier it is to drift off. Now let's bring this all together. We've walked through 4 bedtime mistakes that can make sleep feel like it's letting you down after 70. Not giving your brain time to wind down, sleeping in a room that's working against you, letting worries tag along to bed, and ignoring your body's natural rhythm. Each one is something you can start fixing tonight with small, simple steps. Maybe you dim the lights an hour before bed. Cover that glowing clock. Jot down your thoughts to clear your mind. Skip that late snack, or set a bedtime you can stick to. You don't have to do it all at once. Pick 1 or 2 that feel right and give them a whirl. I know change can feel like a big ask, especially when you've got a routine that's worked for years. But here's the truth. You deserve to wake up feeling good, with the energy to enjoy the things you love. Whether it's tending your garden like George, laughing with your grandkids, or just savoring a quiet moment with your favorite book. These little tweaks aren't about turning your life upside down. They're about giving your body and mind the chance to rest the way they're meant to. And who knows, you might find yourself looking forward to bedtime instead of dreading another restless night. I'd love to hear how this goes for you. What's your bedtime routine like? Or what's one thing you're going to try tonight? Drop it in the comments below. It's always so inspiring to hear from you. If you found this helpful, give the video a thumbs up. It really helps us reach more folks who might need a nudge toward better sleep. And if you want more tips like these, hit that subscribe button so we can keep chatting about ways to live your best life at any age. Here's to cozy nights, sweet dreams, and waking up ready to shine. See you soon.